The aroma of honey-glazed ham and sweet potato casserole hung heavy in the air of my family's sprawling colonial-style home in Greenwich, Connecticut. It was Thanksgiving. That quintessential American ritual where gratitude masks the undercurrents of resentment. I, Elena Ramirez, sat at the edge of the polished oak table, my fork tracing idle patterns in the mashed potatoes. At 28, I was the family's quiet outlier, the freelance graphic designer scraping by in a tiny Brooklyn studio. Or so they thought. Around me, 22 relatives buzzed with the kind of superficial chatter that grated like nails on a chalkboard, Uncle Victor boasting about his latest yacht purchase, Cousin Lisa flashing photos of her Hamptons vacation, and my sister Carla gushing over her husband's promotion at the hedge fund. Elena. Sweetie. Still doodling those little designs on your computer. Aunt Maria cooed, her diamond earrings catching the chandelier light as she sliced into her pecan pie. Her tone dripped with that familiar pity, the kind that made my chest tighten like a vice. When are you going to settle down with a steady job? Maybe something in admin, filing papers, answering phones. Real adult stuff. Before I could muster a response, my brother Marco interjected, his voice laced with that smug superiority he'd honed since childhood. She's been finding her passion for what? 6 years now? Meanwhile, some of us are building legacies. He nodded toward his fiancée, Sophia, and their toddler son, as if they were trophies. I've got a mortgage on that brownstone in Manhattan. Private school tuition's looming. Can't afford to chase dreams forever. My parents, Luis and Carmen Ramirez, exchanged approving glances. Dad, at 60, ran a chain of high-end furniture stores across the tri-state area, his empire built on sharp deals and sharper elbows. Mom curated her image as the perfect socialite, flitting between garden club meetings and benefit auctions in outfits that screamed old money. Speaking of building something, Dad announced, his baritone cutting through the din like a judge's gavel. The table hushed, silverware pausing midair. Carmen and I have been talking about Elena's circumstances. My pulse quickened, but I kept my face a blank canvas. Years of swallowed words teaching me the art of invisibility. We've been footing her bills too long, the rent stipend, the health insurance, even that beat-up Subaru she drives. It's enabling. Pure and simple. Luis. Perhaps this isn't the time, Mom murmured, her eyes darting to the curious faces around us. But Dad waved her off, standing tall in his tailored blazer. No, it's exactly the time. Elena, we're done. No more handouts. Starting now. The words landed like a gut punch, the room's silence broken only by a distant cousin's awkward cough. Cousin Diego hid a smirk behind his wine glass. Aunt Maria's brows arched in feigned sympathy. My niece, little Anna, shot me a wide-eyed look of confusion. You're pushing 30, Dad pressed on. Marco had his own firm by your age. Lisa's flipping properties in the suburbs. What for you got? A portfolio of freelance gigs that barely cover coffee. I sipped my water slowly, letting the irony simmer like a slow-burning fuse. This man, lecturing me on self-reliance from a house I'd anonymously acquired 2 years ago when his stores teetered on collapse from a botched expansion into online retail. The same family devouring a feast I'd funded through veiled wire transfers. The crystal stemware they clinked? Purchased with dividends from my holdings. I get it, I said softly, my voice steady as steel. Dad's posture relaxed a fraction. Good. This is tough love, Mija. You'll see, it's for your growth. Marco leaned back, crossing his arms. Hey, I could hook you up with something entry-level at my office. Data entry. Maybe. It's grunt work. But it'll teach you grit. That's generous, I replied, rising from my seat with deliberate calm. I should get going. Thanks for the meal. Mom's face creased with worry. Elena. Stay. We can talk this out. But I was already shrugging on my coat in the foyer, the weight of unspoken truths pressing on my shoulders like an invisible shroud. As I stepped out, Dad's voice followed. You'll thank us one day. The chill November wind whipped through the manicured streets as I slid into my unassuming Subaru, the one I'd chosen to blend in, while my real fleet sat in a private garage upstate. Driving away, a quiet smile tugged at my lips. If they only knew this entire gated community, with its pristine lawns and colonial facades, was mine, developed under my umbrella corporation, Horizon Ventures, to launder my quiet ascent. My phone pinged with a text from Marco. Don't sweat it. Dad's just lighting a fire under you. Time to level up. I pulled into my Brooklyn walk-up, another asset in my portfolio, where I played the role of the strapped tenant among 11 others who paid me rent faithfully. In my sparsely furnished space, I poured a scotch and booted up my laptop. The screen glowed with my true reality, a net worth cresting $792 million. Graphic design was my cover, my escape into creativity. But venture capital and real estate were my weapons. For 4 years, I'd been their phantom lifeline, propping up their illusions while nursing the scars of their constant dismissal. The encrypted ledger unfolded before me. Dad's furniture empire had been drowning in debt since 2021, saved by anonymous investors I'd orchestrated. Mom's social calendar glittered thanks to endowments I'd funneled through shell charities. Marco's boutique marketing firm thrived on clients I'd steered his way via proxies. Their credit cards? Backed by my guarantees. Family vacations? Subsidized by trusts I'd seeded. Even the college funds for the grandkids drew from dividends I'd allocated. It started as protection, family ties pulling me to intervene when Dad's ego-driven expansion nearly bankrupted us all. But over time, it morphed into something darker, a silent vigil. Watching how they'd treat the failure in their midst. Their love doled out like conditional scraps. The phone rang. Dad. Elena. Your mom's fretting. We didn't mean to blindside you. I'm okay, I assured him. My tone neutral. Actually, your words hit home. Time for big changes. That's my girl, responsibility first. After hanging up, I made the calls to my wealth manager, my legal team, the VPs at Horizon. By dawn, the dominoes were aligned. Monday dawned crisp and unforgiving. I was midway through a virtual board meeting when the notifications flooded in. First, Mom at 10:12 a.m. Her voice frayed. Elena. My Amex got declined at the boutique. They say the account's shut down. Must be a glitch. Weird. Check with the bank, I suggested, knowing full well I'd revoked the overlay I'd placed on her spending. Marco followed, panic edging his words. Sis, my corporate cards are dead. A pitch meeting tanked because I couldn't cover lunch. Banks claiming the lines were pulled by the guarantor. Sounds bad. Maybe Dad's contacts can sort it. By lunch, the family group chat erupted like a powder keg, accounts frozen, fraud from Uncle Victor. My investment portfolios wiped from Cousin Lisa. Can't pay the club dues, cards rejected, Aunt Maria wailed. Dad, working with lawyers. Stay calm. I watched the chaos unfold. A quiet storm building in my chest, the years of belittlement. The backhanded concern, the betrayal of blood that valued status over soul. I'd stayed silent, absorbing the barbs. But silence had its price, a hollow ache that fueled this reckoning. By Tuesday, Dad summoned an emergency summit at the house. I arrived to find them huddled in the great room, faces drawn like suspects in a lineup. Marco paced, his designer watch glinting mockingly. Mom nursed a herbal tea, her poise cracking. The air felt thinner. The thermostat dipped, utilities I'd subtly controlled now dialed back to underscore the void. Elena. Thank God, Dad greeted, his command fraying. This is a nightmare, coordinated sabotage. Marco jumped in, every account. Every deal, poof. Someone's gunning for us. Paranoid much? I asked. Sinking into an armchair I'd selected during the home's renovation, I'd bankrolled. They spilled it, frozen assets. Denied credits. Crumbling deals. Police say no theft. Just authorized closures, Mom whispered. Uncle Victor turned to me, Elena. Any freelance contacts in finance? We're desperate. The irony burned the loser, now their Hail Mary. I stepped outside. Feigning calls. But really scrolling through my app's real-time feeds, stock surges. Property valuations climbing. Returning. I said, my contact thinks it's an inside job, someone intimate with your finances. Who? Marco demanded. Sweat beading. I paused, letting the tension coil like a spring. Me. Confusion rippled. Then disbelief. What? Mom breathed. I flashed my phone, the balance glaring $792, $458, $211. This is real. I've been your shadow bank for years. Marco scoffed, impossible. You. But the docs proved it, deeds to their home. Stakes in Dad's stores. Client lists for Marco's firm, all mine. Your brownstone. Marco? I hold the note. Dad's expansion loan? My guarantee. Mom's galas? My donations. The room imploded in whispers. Faces paling as the betrayal sank in, not mine. But theirs. In how they diminished me. Why? Dad croaked. Love. And hurt, I admitted. Voice cracking for the first time. You saw me as the weak link. The pity case. I hid my empire to test if your affection was real or rigged to success. The silence I kept? It ate at me. Every patronizing word a fresh wound. Tears streamed down Mom's face. We never knew. That's the point, I snapped. The bunga finally erupting. You never asked. Never saw beyond the facade. Your tough love was the last straw, cutting me off while living off my dime. The air thickened with regret. Marco slumped. I mocked you. Dad stood. Humbled. We failed you. But the price lingered, the trust shattered. The family bonds frayed by my orchestrated fall. Options, I said coldly. 1. I restore it all. Stay your ghost. 2. We rebuild honestly, no more illusions. You learn. Work. Earn as equals. Uncle Victor nodded. Teach us. Mom reached for my hand. Forgive? Not yet, I replied. The ache raw. But maybe. That night. Texts poured in. Marco's awe. Mom's sorrow. Dad's humility. As I planned our dawn meeting at Horizon's penthouse offices, I felt the weight of choices, the revenge's bitter aftertaste. The silence's toll. We'd build anew. But scars don't fade overnight. The family that betrayed me in ignorance now faced the empire I'd forged in pain. And the real work was just beginning.